So we're good to go.
Good afternoon. At this time, we are going to call the meeting to order. First of all, we will have our pledge led by Roger Simpson from Crittenden County and the invocation from Mayor Kevin Cotton.
Father, thank you for bringing us here today, Lord. Thank you that you'll do your work. Ask you to watch over us, bless this meeting, give us wisdom to help our people, Lord.
Thank you. At this time, we need to a motion for the approval of the August minutes. Okay, second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed, like sign? Okay, motion carries. And next we have the approval of the financial report by Judge Mansfield.
So you should have the monthly expenditures report in your folder and the financial report. As you can see, we are 2 months into the fiscal year, which is about 16.67% of our year. And we're running behind on our expenditures and revenue, but I see nothing out of the ordinary. So I would recommend we approve the report.
Okay, we need a motion to approve the financial report. Second. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next, we will have our federal and state reports. We have Morgan Alvey from Senator Mitch McConnell's office.
Play the video of Judge White. His testimony.
Yeah, well, yeah, the highlight of my remarks is making sure that everyone knows that last week Judge White was in DC for his Senate confirmation hearing to be on the TVA board. If anyone hasn't seen the video, I have it. And so he did a fantastic job, I have to say. So, but yes, if anyone is interested, Senator McConnell, he actually introduced Judge White at his hearing, and we did a press release on it. So I can, if anybody is interested, I can forward that. It has the links to the video. But that's
The video everybody else saw last time.
yeah. But anyways, really excited for him. I think he did us all proud, and happy that process is moving forward. But the only other thing I'll note is the Senate, just came off of August recess, and the senator spent the months traveling around the state. He was here in Hopkinsville about 2 weeks ago, spoke to the Hopkinsville Rotary Club, and also did a meeting with some local ag leaders. So always great to have him down here in West Kentucky. So the Senate is now back in session. Of course, September 30th is the end of the federal fiscal year. So negotiations continue on a government funding bill that will expire at the end of this month. That's all I have from a legislative perspective. I know I always mention, but I like to reinforce it. If any of you are ever applying for any competitive federal grants, please don't hesitate to reach out to us, and we can, in most cases, we can write a letter of support. So just reach out, let us know what all you are applying for. We'll be happy to take a look at it in our DC office. As always, any way we can be of help, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you.
Thank you, Morgan. Next, we have Corey Elder with Congressman Comer's office.
Hello, everyone. Wanted to also commend Judge White. As Morgan said last week, that was great to see him there, and looking forward to what all you do on the TVA board. Congressman Comer was also in Christian County a couple of weeks ago during the August recess, met with pharmacists. We're doing a lot, Congressman Comer is doing a lot focused on PBMs and how we can lower prices and make sure that it's a level playing field for everyone. It's such a complicated issue, and we're trying to learn all about it because just the prices that there's just no transparency in how some of the billing and stuff like that goes. Congressman Comer is working on that. He had a roundtable a few months back, and we look forward to doing that going forward. Congressman Comer was in Caldwell County this past Friday. Met with some individuals there. And on the legislative front, Congressman Comer is frustrated how DC is leaning more towards our urban friends, and a lot of the legislation coming out, especially as it comes to student loans. The forgiveness does not trickle down to our rural economies in the same way that it does, but that's just across the board on all the spending that's coming out of this administration. Congressman Comer is leading the fight into uncovering the transparency related to Hunter Biden and the laptop. And he's frustrated and calling out the hypocrisy with the Treasury's office and making sure that our rules are followed. He's really looking forward to having some more teeth when it comes into that this upcoming January. As Morgan said, feel free to reach out to our office as well on the competitive federal grants, as well as casework. We do a lot of casework. Always just, and if anyone that comes into y'all's office that has an issue with a federal agency, please reach out to us. We can help track that and make that more beneficial to them. Thank you all.
Thank you, Corey. Next, we have Alex Caudell with Governor's Office.
Partner in crime, Martha Jane King, just walked in too. So I'll yield some of my time to her, but good afternoon. She's better at this type of thing than I am, but great to be back with you all today on this beautiful day as we inch towards fall and beautiful weather. Not a whole lot to report on our end. Enjoyed seeing so many of you at the Governor's Local Issues Conference. It was a great conference this year. Appreciate you all who came up and participated in that. Had some good meetings and discussions there with Commissioner Keene and other folks as well. One quick reminder, in addition, for any of our disaster impacted counties, if you haven't yet, the CDBG Disaster Recovery Survey is still up on DLG's website. Very important as we craft that plan for the rollout of those dollars next year. So if you haven't taken that survey, please do, and please share it with your community members as well, so we can get more of that feedback from those folks who were directly impacted by the tornadoes. But if you all ever need any help with anything, feel free to reach out to me or Martha Jane, and we'll be happy to assist you. Thank you.
I'm glad you did go over that because I did have that in my part of my presentation as well. But you can also find directions on our social media platforms, our Facebook page or Twitter or other directions on where to get to that survey.
Yeah.
So, thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Okay, next we have Martha Jane King.
I know.
That's not fair. I echo everything that Alex said, and please go fill that survey out. I think the last recap that they had, sorry, my phone's talking. What was it? 5 had filled out the survey. Yeah. And so please, that's very important as we go forward and put everything together. And somewhere they'll, in the great conglomeration of things, they will come up with a report that supposedly will help us all. So just a brief reminder, in Todd County, Scott, you better help me with this date on the gas line. See, everybody knew it. My excuse is having had COVID twice, so I don't have to say I'm old anymore and can't remember. I can just say I have COVID. But the governor will be down to announce that. And we hope everybody will come and join us as we celebrate that. Other than that, I don't have any announcements either. My apologies for being late. And Scott, I want to talk to you later because I just left a solar meeting. So Yeah, the solar array is interesting. If anybody is interested, the governor put me on the Public Service Commission, on a seating commission to hear the ins and outs of the solar arrays that's going on in Logan County. And it's very controversial because people like it and then people hate it. Well, thank you. So there's been a lot of comment. So I hate to say it, but if anybody needs any information on that, please give me a call. I may not want to, but the governor said I had to. So thanks a lot.
Thanks. Next, we have our staff reports. Well, first, I guess I need to ask, did we miss anybody? Does anybody else have a report? Okay. Next, we'll do our staff reports. We have Angela Herndon with our Community and Economic Development.
Good afternoon, friends. What I'm here to talk to you about today is the comprehensive economic development strategy. Our office is responsible for updating this annually for the region, as well as every 5 years there is a required rewrite. So this year is one of our rewrite years. And for those of you who don't know, the CEDS is a result of a regionally owned planning process that is designed to build capacity and guide the economic prosperity and resilience of our region. It is a requirement. It has to be updated, like I said, in order for us to qualify for EDA assistance under the Public Works and Economic Adjustment Assistance Programs. A couple of things just to give you an idea of what it encompasses. If you haven't read it recently, it is on our website. The old version, or the version that's being updated, is on our website. It does contain a summary background that will give a lot of demographic information about our region and our individual cities. This year, I'm hoping to incorporate county profiles, which is basically a snapshot of your individual county, because there's so many things that one county may have that another county doesn't, or strong strengths and weaknesses that vary from county to county. So I kind of want to take that opportunity to highlight that within the CEDS document. We'll also do a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And we'll incorporate elements from other area plans, transportation plans, comprehensive plans, long-term regional development plans, anything that's specific to our area that is important to economic development. We want to make sure that we incorporate that into this document as well. It'll also have the strategic direction and action plan. That's where our goals will be. That's where all the objectives will be. Just in looking from the goals from the previous iteration of this document, I don't necessarily see a lot of those changing drastically, but I think some of the objectives will definitely have to be adjusted just because of some of the things that we've had happen in our region in the last few years, and some of the new opportunities that you're seeing in the news about things that are coming to our region. So want to make sure we get that updated. There will also be an evaluation framework included in the document. And we also have to incorporate some elements of economic resilience. Obviously, with all the disasters that we've had recently in the area, that will be an important topic for us to talk about, is how do we build back these manufacturing facilities, production facilities that maybe were damaged in a storm or a flood or anything else that we've had. So currently right now, I am in the process of collecting the background information, all of the demographics, all the details about what makes the Pennyrile area unique in the state. And then the SWOT analysis, I'm working on that as I study and learn about each county. Because admittedly, I'm a Christian County girl. I'm from Christian County. I know Christian County a lot better than I know any of the other counties. So I am learning about each of the counties that are in our area. The timeline moving forward is I'm hoping to have a draft ready for public review at the beginning of October and use that month in October for our public review and comment period. And then have it back to the board for the November meeting for adoption. And then we will be able to submit that by the deadline, which I think is December the 1st. In that meantime, I have talked to a lot of folks about this document. I've sent out a few emails. I've talked to some economic directors. I would love to talk to each and every one of you about your communities. I want to know what makes your community special, what opportunities you all have coming, anything you're super excited about, anything you're super worried about. Those are the types of things that we want to take into account when we're creating this document so it can fully lead our region and the economic development in our region over the next 5 years. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you all might have. If not, please reach out to me, shoot me an email, give me a call, come by, see me. My office is just over there in the corner. But thank you for the opportunity to give you guys a little update about where I am with that.
As you all can tell, Angela's really gonna put some horsepower behind this process. I don't know that anybody was here in the room when we were created back in 1969. But Sheila, if I'm not mistaken, the SEDS process was one of our one and only responsibilities that we had when we were created back in the 1960s. So EDA definitely sees this as a very important process that our region needs to go through. Thank you, Angela, for helping us out with that. And hopefully you all will take some time to talk with her as we're going through that. So just wanted to say those few things.
Thank you, Angela. Next, we have from our aging department, Hayla Swall.
Good afternoon. I am the Senior Staff Accountant for the Aging Department. And while Ms. Jill is representing you all at the SC4A conference, I wanted to update you all on the budget. The information that is coming up on the slide is also in your packet. The last time we spoke about the budget, we had said that the state unit had been promising us some funding for the senior meals, and we did not actually know what all of that looked like at that time. So I want to update you on that. That has been come to known as the Expanded Senior Meal Program. And we actually received, as you can see, a little over $1.5 million for that. 114,000 of that is for admin and the rest is for services. This is actually the second highest funding of all the ads across the state due to our performance during the first couple of years of COVID. So we had served so many seniors and we were needing so much more funding than what we had originally had that they have given us this much funding. In that, we also are no longer going to use our home care services for home delivered meals. So we'll be able to use those home care services to up and expand that program as well. And so we are working diligently to get all of those services out there and getting them increased as we go. If you look at this chart, it'll show you what we've done in July and August. If you'll see the expanded senior meal program, it nearly doubled in August. And a lot of that is because we are going to use these meals, this funding first. We're going to get that is going to absorb all of the home care meals. And then it's also going to start absorbing some of the Title III meals until we get all of this $1.5 million expended. So I think that is all I have. So if you have any questions in regards to the extended senior meal program, I'm happy to take those. Thank you.
Hayla did mention that we received the second largest funding amount, and that was based on our performance. And I just want to say, I know a lot of you all just came from the PAX board meeting, but PAX really stepped up to help us get through that time, as well as our staff. So I just wanted to tell them thank you for everything that they have done in providing those much needed meals across our region. So thanks to PAX and thanks to our staff.
Thanks, Hayla. And next we have Sheila Clark for Workforce Development.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. I was thinking about the fact that some of you all serve on the board, Deb, Chrissy, some of the others, and So you get this twice or 3 times if you're really lucky. So I apologize for you having to hear it so much, but maybe you can be a voice in sharing that information. Tom will be coming up shortly to make some comments on some upcoming job events. We just finished one in Paducah. It was well attended. What we find in those events are about half of the people are looking for a job. They don't have one. And the other half is looking for a better job or something that'll fit their lifestyle. And we did have a lot of opportunities there with about 90 employers of all different sizes and types there. And some were virtual work as well, we might mention. But anyhow, Tom will finish that for you and look through the information in the packet with you. I did want to mention that we've just returned from the Southeastern Employment and Training Association Conference in Louisville, and we had several staff members and a few board members to attend. And when we come back, we asked the staff to share each of the workshops or pick some of the highlights from the workshops. And we have a training day where all the staff come back and present. And it's one of our activities where we can actually bring back ideas, steal ideas. If the Department of Labor's already paid for it once, we don't want them to pay for it again. So we'll use an idea that's good and try to change it just a little to make it fit better for our area. We also wanted to mention that on September the 28th at 10 a.m., the West Kentucky Workforce Board will have a Zoom meeting that day and update everybody. One of the things that might have gone overlooked on July 1 with so many things taking place is that the Cabinet, Education and Labor has come together as one, and it's the Education and Labor Cabinet. There is one secretary, Secretary Jamie Link, and then there's 2 deputy secretaries. One is Vicki Wise, who has been in place. And then another one is a familiar face. Beth Brinley will be coming as October 1 as the new deputy secretary. So I'm sure that she'll be in our area before long, looking at some events and activities, and we'll keep you advised of that. Tom, I'll let you come up and finish up that session. Make sure I'll take everything.
Thank you, Sheila. Good afternoon. I just want to give you an update real quick on some business services activities that our team is doing. It is a team approach. It's not just one individual. Sheila mentioned Paducah. I was going to say something about that, but she's already covered that. We are having here in Hopkinsville for this region a hiring event this Thursday, the 15th, at the Bruce Convention Center. We have 60 businesses. It is full. We have 60 businesses, companies representing anything from manufacturing, including some of our newest manufacturers that have just been announced that are not even here yet, so to speak, are going to be there along with current manufacturers. We have healthcare. We have 3 hospitals in the region that are represented. We have several small businesses. We have corrections, Department of Corrections, and the state prison will be there recruiting for employees, not for inmates. Or they may find a few inmates, I don't know. But there's, as you can tell, there's all sorts of businesses that'll be there. I do want to thank our sponsors for that real quick, because we could not do these without our sponsors. First of all, the Edge Media Group, KDZ, HVO, is very prominent in promoting these for us. And then Southwest Economic Development, Carter Hendricks and that group, along with the Hopkinsville Community College and the Kentucky Career Center. They all go above and beyond the call of duty to help us with these events. And speaking of the Career Center, we will have a Career Center set up on site with computers where individuals can go once they meet with employers or prior to meet with employers. They can go and get advice and a resume prepared and done and printed off. We'll do that for them at no charge, so they can present that resume to the companies that are there on site. If the company requires them to register online for a job, they can come back to the Career Center again and do that with assistance from our employees. So that's a service we offer to the individuals that come looking for a job or for better employment. And speaking of job fairs, just for thought for in the future, I know you heard us talk about a while back about how successful the high school job fairs were that we had. We had two in this region, one Tree County, and then we had one here in Christian County that was a combination of Trigg, Todd, and Christian County school systems, where seniors from those schools came and found out about jobs available, actually applied on site, and some were actually hired that day or just a few days after that. Well, this coming year, 2023, prior to graduation, late April and early May, these are being planned. The one in Tree County already has a date set. Beth Sumner's already got on the ball and it has her set for April 23rd of next year. So these are in the planning process, so stay tuned for more news on that. One thing we do, one of the services, business services team does in conjunction with some of our staff is the not so pleasant part of our job, and that's rapid response. And what rapid response is basically is when a company is closing or having a mass layoff of their employees. There's a group of individuals that come in and set up basically a form for those individuals to find out information they need to better their lives. It could be unemployment insurance. Obviously, that's the number one thing they want to know is how, when, and what are the rules as far as applying to unemployment insurance. But there's also assistance for education. If they want to better their education, there may be funds available for that. Training for another type of job. If they don't want to go back into that, maybe a manufacturing job or whatever, if they want to train for something else, there's training available also to the community colleges or whatever. So all that information is done in a one-stop service, so to speak, at that company's location or location that we choose to help those employees. One such event is coming up Tuesday, the 20th. Tammy Hyde from our staff is leading that. It'll be held in Tree County for the PJ Clark Lumber Company employees that has announced their layoff. We strive to help individuals either get a job, get a better job, or provide information in case they're losing their job. That's part of our services. Molly Deal from our staff, my counterpart in the Hopkins County, Muhlenberg County area, she has 3 events coming up. I do want to mention real quick. The first is September. There's information sheets in your packet on these. The first one is September 20th. It's a Breaking Barriers, Build Your Knowledge for a Better Life event. It's a resource fair, community resource fairs for individuals. They can learn about housing, healthcare, education, college resources, on and on and on, second chance opportunities, financial planning. It's an event that's being held from 2 to 6 at First United Methodist Church there in Madisonville. The second event I want to call your attention to is the Muhlenberg County Job Fair. Again, we keep talking about job fairs. And why do we have these? We don't have these just so we have something to do. We have these because they're requested by the companies that are looking for individuals. I don't know the latest figure, the economic development, Lake Martin Partnership may know their numbers in our area. I'm sure Amanda does, but in this whole region, there's hundreds of jobs that are available right now. And it covers a gamut from healthcare to manufacturing to all sorts of types of jobs. And it's existing companies that are expanding, which we have several in this area that are doing that, and the new companies that are coming in. So there's plenty of work in this region to do. And there's plenty of opportunities for individuals to gain a job. But the Muhlenberg County Job Fair is October 12th. It's a Central City Convention Center from 10 to 4. And the last information sheet she had wanted me to say something about is a Muhlenberg County Expungement Fair. It's hard for me to say expungement event. It's October 19th from noon to 4, and it's at the Greater Muhlenberg County Parks and Rec Center. And what an expungement fair is basically is individuals that might have had a run-in with the law in their previous life or earlier in their life. It's an opportunity for them to come to gain information from attorneys and so on and so forth about how they might be able to clean their record up to where they can go and find gainful employment out in the world and to better their lives for themselves and their families. The last thing I want to mention real quick, on the job training, you hear us talk about on the job training quite a bit. I want to explain real quick. I think most of you know, but on the job training basically is where a company provides the opportunity for an individual that comes to work for them. If they meet the eligibility for us, when they go to see a case manager or a career center, if they meet the eligibility for adult worker or dislocated worker, will provide 50% of their salary during their designated training period. It's a program I work closely with. Molly and Mary Ann, my counterparts do also. But just give you a quick update. In our area right now, since July 1, which is the start of our fiscal year, we have currently 22 individuals involved in on-the-job training program. 8 have completed, and it's an average salary. And this has gone up drastically since I first started doing this several years ago. But the average salary right now these individuals are making are $16.38 an hour. And again, that's average salary. A lot of these salaries are a lot higher than that. I've put individuals in salaries into positions with salaries making $20, $22, $23 plus an hour. So if you have a question about that, I have the information up here. The companies are involved in it and is represented from all over the region. It's not just here in Hopkinsville, Christian County. So if you have a question, if you want to see more information about it, come see me after the meeting. I'll be glad to share it with you.
Thank you, Sheila and Tom. At this time, it is time for our monthly Code of Ethics report, and we are happy to report that we do not have a report. And then our guest speaker this month is Philip Ross. He is a cyber and geospatial analyst for the Kentucky Intelligence Fusion Center, located in the Kentucky Office of Homeland Security. He has over a decade of experience in intelligence field, to include military, counter drug, and CBRN intelligence. As a cyber intelligence analyst, Philip works with critical infrastructure partners across the state in order to facilitate information sharing between those organizations. Welcome, Philip.
All right, boss, how much time do I have? I'm setting a timer. All right, how many people are excited to talk about cybersecurity today? Yeah? Well, you don't have to lie to have friends, but that's okay. I appreciate it. You can't please all the people and all the time. And my last presentation, all those people were there, so that was an experience. All right, so some stuff to touch on real quick. Is anybody on the COT network in here, just for my own knowledge and curiosity? Very few. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's add folks. Okay. Is anybody in the room a member of MSISAC? Okay. MSISAC is the Multi-State Information Sharing and Analysis Center. I was going to come up here, let me go back. I was going to come up here and tell you a bunch of scary stuff, like how bad everything is, but that doesn't do anybody any good. It's fun for me, but it doesn't help you. So instead, I'm going to talk about stuff that you can do to help yourself or not do to help yourself. I'm not regulatory. I'm not here to check that you've done these things. You can do these things if you want, and if not, we can still be dear friends. First thing is MSISAC. MSISAC, Multi-State Information Sharing and Analysis Center. It's owned by DHS. You can sign up for that. There's tons of cyber tools on there that they can get you set up for. They have incident response capability. That's a remote capability, but it is still a capability. If you call us and say, Homeland Security, we just had a cyber breach, we're going to say, have you called MSISAC? Because they have tools to help you. We don't. All we have is me. It's just me. It's a big state. MSISAC's federally funded. I am not. So they can go out and do tons and tons of stuff to help you out. So if you're not a member of MSISAC, do some research on that, sign up for it. Doesn't take very long. If you're part of a municipality, you qualify for it. Doesn't cost you anything. Actually, you're already paying for it right now. So you can use it or not. Yep. MS-ISAC. Yeah. And there's lots and lots of information sharing and analysis centers. MSISAC is just the biggest one. Pretty much every critical infrastructure sector has a information sharing and analysis center. Some of those are paid, some are not paid. You can just sign up for them for free. MSISAC is free. All right. CISA. Has anybody already met our state's CISA cybersecurity guy, Colin Glover? Anybody familiar with that name? Nope. The whole room, nobody? Still, I'm going to kind of give him a hard time. So Colin Glover is dedicated to our state. We've never had a CISA cyber guy for our state. He's our first one. Our last guy was based out of Georgia, so he didn't do a whole lot of stuff in Kentucky. But Colin does a lot for us. He can come out and do tons of stuff for you. Again, you've already paid for it, so you can take advantage of it if you want to, and if not, that's okay. But he can come out and just talk to you about your network and what you have and what you don't have. or maybe some priorities that you should maybe have to upgrade. Now, he can talk about all that. They also have tons of assessments that they can do. They have assessment teams that can come out and they can do tabletop exercises. They can come out and do vulnerability assessments. They can do phishing campaigns. They can do all kinds of stuff for you, and it doesn't cost you anything. Let's see here. Talked about network assessments. Also, he can set you up on external vulnerability scans. So what does that mean? So you have a network, you have stuff on your network. Some of that stuff is visible everywhere, all over the world. It's on the internet. Anybody can look at and touch that stuff. Other stuff is going to be inside your network, and external people shouldn't be able to touch that. So really, you need to see how vulnerable your exterior parts of your network are. And CISA, for free, can provide you an external vulnerability scan, where every day they check all of your systems that are exposed to the internet, and they look for open doors and open windows. And then at the end of that week, they email you and say, hey, there's some certificates that need to be updated. There's some things that are online that shouldn't be online. That kind of stuff. And then you can fix that stuff or not. If you don't fix it, they're not going to come kicking your door down, pointing guns at you or anything like that. They're just providing this service to you. They're letting you know that you have vulnerabilities. If you want to fix those vulnerabilities, then you can. And if not, then you'll continue to have those vulnerabilities. If you don't know how to fix them, you can contact them, or you can contact MSISAC, or you can contact Colin, and they're more than happy to give you some pointers, walk you through how to do that kind of stuff, how to fix those things. Let's see here. I passed out. I didn't have enough for everybody, but let's be honest, most people here don't care about cybersecurity. So I just kind of like spread them out. I passed out some documents for things to ask your managed service provider or your IT person. I know that a lot of communities aren't fortunate enough to have an IT person, and that's fine. But if you do have an IT person, or if you have a managed service provider, that's a third party that kind of manages your stuff, not somebody on premises, but somebody, you contract through to manage your IT equipment. They're typically, I don't want to like bash anybody for doing their jobs, but like typically IT people or MSPs, managed service providers, their job is to keep stuff up and running. Most of us just want to do our job. That's all we want to do. We want to show up when we open our computer. We want it to come on. When we send an email, we want it to send. When we want to watch a cat video, we want that cat video to work 100% of the time. That's all we want. And so what IT people do is they try to keep you happy, because I don't know if you know anything about IT people, but they don't want to talk to you. So in order to not talk to you, they're going to do everything they can to keep your stuff up and running, right? And they're typically good at their jobs, right? How often do you have to talk to them? Almost never. That means they're doing their job almost all the time, right? They're good at what they're doing. But keeping your stuff working and keeping your stuff safe isn't the same thing. Like, let's say you have a generator that keeps the lights on, and you have a guy that works on that generator, and that's all he does is work on that generator. Your lights never go off, generator's always working. That generator just sitting outside of your building. It's not behind a fence, doesn't have security cameras on it. It's easily accessible to the public. It's getting rained on all the time. So now it's vulnerable to all these environmental hazards. It's vulnerable to people coming up stealing the generator, or spray painting a picture of a cat on it, or whatever they want to do. They can do all that kind of stuff to that generator because it's not being protected. So you need a separate person who's not a generator mechanic who can keep it secure. And that's what, I forget what I was talking about. Network assessments, I'll ask your MSP. Okay, so circling back from cat graffiti back to MSPs. You want to reach out to your MSP, you want to reach out to your IT person, you want to ask them the list of questions that I have, because those are all security considerations. Those aren't necessarily things that keep your network working. Those are things that keep your network safe. And by keeping your network safe, that's sort of also how you keep your network working, because if it's not safe and bad guys get their fingers in there and they break everything, now nothing's working. Now nobody's watching cat videos because everybody's locked down with ransomware. That's a lot of sad faces, right? So just that little handout that I have, some of you have it. You can ask your MSPs, ask your IT folks those questions. A lot of those things are going to take time to fix. Some of those things might cost money to fix, but a good chunk of those things, CISA or MSISAC provides those services to you. All you have to do is sign up for them, and it's handled in the background. You don't even have to do anything. You just have to know those things exist, sign up for them. It's going to be taken care of for you. Let me check my timer. Okay, 7 minutes. We're crushing it. Okay. So asking your MSP. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is Pisces. I also handed out a piece of paper with Pisces information on it. Pisces is yet another CISA service that you're already paying for. Thank you very much. And Pisces is how do we say this? Pisces is a service that monitors firewall log traffic. Okay, that's a bunch of jargon, but what it basically means is anytime you send something out or you receive something back in, it's sent in what's called a packet. So one email might be, I don't know, 1,000 packets or 100 packets or 10 packets or whatever. It breaks the information up, puts it in packets, sends it, reassembles it. That's not important. What's important is sends it in packets, right? And this software looks at these packets. It doesn't look inside the packets. It can't see the quantity and quality of the kitten pictures that you're sending. All it knows is that you're sending information. Information is going out, information is coming in. It can see metadata. It can see to and from. It can see date timestamps. It can see things like that. So the software looks at it, and then based off of the traffic patterns, it can make some analysis and flag certain things. And then university students, we've got, actually it's near you guys. It's Murray State. Murray State's the one that's doing this right now, kind of spearheading that for us. So students will see these flags as they pop up, and then they'll say, okay, let's investigate this to make sure something suspicious isn't going on. And they can catch quite a bit of stuff. They've not Murray State yet, because we're not up and running yet, but other states that have been doing this, they found things like botnets, cryptocurrency mining campaigns. They found ongoing like data breaches where they were like exfiltrating data from the network at the time. They found a security guard that was playing Xbox all night. They found just all kinds of stuff, right? You can see all kinds of things from metadata. So some important things to know about Pisces. Number one, doesn't cost you anything, doesn't cost the university anything. Number two, the students can't see what you're sending or receiving, nor do they know who they're monitoring. All they know is this is my little space of the network. This is what I need to get familiar with. So they start to kind of see what's normal and what's abnormal. And by identifying what's abnormal is how you can identify problems. So that's what they're looking for, abnormal things on network traffic. They don't even know it's you. All they know is that there's something weird going on. So let's report this up. It gets up to CISA, and then CISA triple verifies it. And then they'll reach back out to you and say, hey, we found something strange on your system. Let's figure out how to fix this. And it doesn't cost you anything. Let's see here. Another thing I wanted to touch on, back to MSISAC. MSISAC has another free service called MDBR, which is malicious domain blocking and reporting. Again, that doesn't cost you anything. You sign up for MSISAC, sign up for MDBR. And what it does is it has a automated list of known bad websites. So sometimes when you click on an email, or not an email, but like a link or an attachment, or if you go to a website and click on an ad, it can send you to a known bad website. It can send you to a website that's going to steal your credentials, harvest your credentials, or download malware onto your computer or something like that. Well, all of those sites are kept in a database, and MDBR keeps track of that, and it prevents anyone on your network from going to those places. So again, that doesn't cost you anything, and it just kind of runs in the background, and it's pretty easy to set up. Okay, let's see, what else have we got? .gov, how many folks are on a .gov in here? Okay, that's better than most rooms. .gov right now currently is owned by CISA. Doesn't cost you anything to get a .gov. Why would you want to get a .gov? It looks more professional than a google.com for one thing. For another, there's protections built in to the CISA.gov and keep you a little safer, right? There may be cost in transitioning to it, especially if you have like a .org and you have your own email server and all kinds of stuff like that. There should be some costs associated with that. Might take some time, but there is a cyber grant coming out that could maybe cover some of that. How we doing? 3 minutes, just enough time to talk about the grant. Look at that. So cybersecurity grant. We don't know when it's going to come out. I've been getting ready for this since like January, right? So we've got kind of a committee tentatively in place. We got some of the plans laid out. We're ready to receive it. And then CISA and FEMA keep saying it's going to come out next month. And then next month passes. Then I'm like, oh yeah, remember when I said it's coming out next month? Sorry guys, I lied about that. So we've kind of been in that cycle for a while. So now I'm just waiting for the notice of funding to come out. But once the notice of funding comes out, we will be able to push that money out. I think the first year it's somewhere between 2 to 4 million, and then 3 to 5. And then the same or similar on the third year. Then the fourth year is somewhere between 1 to 3 million. And it's anything to do with cybersecurity. You can upgrade equipment. You can hire MSPs if you don't have them to manage your equipment. You can hire security services to make your stuff secure. If you don't have that, you can train your personnel, which I don't recommend training them a whole lot because then they'll leave for Amazon or something, make better money. But you can train them a little bit, give them a little bit of training under that grant, so they'll stick around. And then let's see what else. Really, anything to do with cybersecurity you can think of. This grant will cover it. It's a reimbursement grant, just like most of the FEMA grants that are out there. There might be a match. We don't know if that's going to be the state's responsibility or yours. Personally, I hope it ends up being the state's responsibility because I don't want to put that burden on anybody else. And let's see, a couple minutes left. We'll do some questions. Any questions? Yes, sir. CISA is a cybersecurity, information security, or cybersecurity infrastructure security agency. Cybersecurity infrastructure security. Yeah. I had to think about that one. I say it, but I never know. They're under DHS. They're relatively new, actually. They have a physical security advisor and a cyber advisor. Their cyber guy is Colin Glover. Their physical guy is Kyle Wolf. Kyle Wolf can do most of the same things Colin can, but just on the physical side. He'll come out and do assessments. He can do like a Google Maps street view of like organizations or like buildings or institutions or something like that, so that you have that to provide to first responders. So like, let's say you have an active shooter event. If Kyle's already been out there before they even get to the building or the location, you can say, okay, here's where they are. And you can have like a Google Maps kind of a walkthrough to kind of give them an idea how that goes. You can also do tabletop exercises. You can do physical vulnerability assessments. You can do counter surveillance training, active shooter training, all kinds of stuff. So either of those guys, they're out there. Doesn't cost anything. Of course, I didn't bring their cards, but I do have a card. You can contact me and I'll contact them.
You said it again, but any of those activities are available to our community.
Yeah, any of it. Yeah.
At no cost. About how many communities across the state are taking advantage of these services?
I don't really know. Kyle, I feel like Kyle stays way busier than Colin does. Kyle's a physical security guy. I feel like he goes out and he's always doing something. With cyber stuff, it's been a struggle. Like for whatever reason, I don't know. I think it's just because of the jargon, like the extra barrier of just not knowing what you don't know. That's my timer. But yeah, you just.
We'll send out information to our board.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll get with you, Philip, and we can put some email together and send that.
Yeah. I've probably already got it somewhere. Just have to forward it to you.
Probably sounds good.
ISAC. Yeah. Any other questions? My time's up. I don't want to make enemies. Question? Yeah. 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 Yeah, backups help a lot. The grant will cover that too. I forgot to talk about that. Most communities, people don't know how much money it's going to take to do all this kind of stuff. Most communities, from what we've seen, it's going to be $10,000 or less to completely overhaul all of your stuff. If you have all super old stuff needs to be updated, most places, I mean, there's going to be exceptions, but most mid to small size communities, it's going to be less than $10,000 to cover all that, which isn't a big deal. But cyber is not really like your neighbor's mouthy kid. Like you can't like give it a couple of bucks and it'll go away. Like it's like something you have to keep an eye on. So just upgrading the equipment isn't really going to solve your problems. It'll solve your problems for about, I don't know, 3 weeks. And then patches come out for all that equipment. And once those patches come out, now it's vulnerable again. So you have to have somebody keep an eye on all that stuff. And that's really the issue. But the grant covers getting managed service providers to update that stuff and managed security service providers to keep that stuff safe.
But it sounds like the best thing to do might be to go ahead and have your folks, or you come out and do these assessments so that when the grant comes out,
Right.
you're ready to apply for whatever the needs are.
Well, that's phase one of the grant, is get an assessment done. And that assessment could be as simple as Colin coming out and just talking to you about what you have. Okay, here's what you have. Here's some next steps. It doesn't have to be any kind of like get deep into your systems or any like hook a computer up to your network or anything like that. Most of the time, most mid to small size communities, it's going to be, okay, what have you got? Who do you work with? What do you have? It's very simple, kind of high level stuff because it doesn't have to be in the weeds. Another thing I should mention about both Colin and Kyle is any information that's shared with them, they're not allowed to share it with me or anybody else. It's all protected under the Critical Infrastructure Protection Act, I think is what it's called. So they can't share it with anybody. Like even if they do get in your network or they do something, they can't share it with anybody else, not even under open records request or anything like that. It's your information, 100% belongs to you the whole time. I also have, before I leave, I also have incident command system books to pass out if anybody wants those. They're back there at the desk where Melissa was. So normally first responders, emergency managers, like this sort of stuff, got about 25 of them. If you're interested in that, you can take those with you, also no cost.
Thank you, Philip. Unfortunately, cybersecurity, as you've already mentioned, that's something that we tend to think about after it's too late and after we've already been attacked. One of our sister ads was attacked and I think held at about $400 and something thousand, Martha Jane. So that's a little bit steeper than that 6,000 piece, but unfortunately it happens and we all have to work to keep those risks minimalized. But thank you for being here, Philip. Y'all recognize this guy? It's his anniversary today. He was supposed to be here, sitting here where Chrissy is right now. And I had this slide already in there today. But Judge Alexander is celebrating his 35th wedding anniversary today. So you all can text him a lot of messages about that. But hadn't Chrissy done a good job filling in for us today? I think she likes to be up here about as much as I do. I did want to mention Pride of the Pennyrile again, which will take place September the 22nd. I know for a fact we have several golfers in the room. We would love to have you join us. So if you haven't signed up, you like to play golf or you like to ride on the houseboat, contact Melissa or myself and we can get you signed up for that. This is a great opportunity to thank our businesses and industry throughout the region for what they do each and every day to support our economy. So again, sign up for that if your schedule will allow. Next slide, please. I love it when stuff works. Have we been attacked, Philip? That's right. We do need it. Oh, there we go. We got to have these pictures up there. Madam Chair, I would like to introduce a couple of new employees to our staff. First, we have Alicia Fowler, who, Alicia, stand up, Alicia. Alicia is actually rejoining our staff. She just couldn't stand it to be away from you, away from us. Could you, Alicia? We're extremely happy to have her back with us in our aging department as a case manager. Welcome back, Alicia. And then secondly, I'd like to welcome Brian Jones. Brian, stand up, please, to our Community and Economic Development Department. I'm glad to have another Hopkins Countyan on staff here with us. But Brian, good to have you joining the team in Community and Economic Development. Please welcome him. Next slide, please. Oh, we've already talked about this slide about if you haven't had a chance to complete the survey, please do as soon as you can. And then finally, if you were at the local issues conference, you probably saw that our region, along with Green River Ad And the purchase ad was awarded the 2022 Peggy Satterley Spirit of Kentucky Award. And here is everybody from all three districts up there accepting that award. And this was for all the work that has been done over the last years and years and years, making I-69 become a reality throughout our region. You'll find a copy of the press release in your packet. Our good friend John Maury, who I know we've talked a lot about here recently, was also recognized as part of this award for all the work that he did to make I-69 become a reality as well. So just wanted to let everybody know who couldn't make the conference that we did receive that award. So congratulations to everyone. And finally, just wanted to say that next month we will not meet for our regularly scheduled board meeting in October due to the NATO conference taking place later that week, as well as I think that we'll have several fall breaks going on that first couple weeks of October. So it's also Columbus Day. That's correct. Anybody have any questions for me? That's all I have. Thank you all for being here. And as always, thank you for your support of our organization. Madam Chair, thank you.
Thank you, Jason. If we don't have any other business, then I need a motion to adjourn. All right, and second. Thank you all very much.